I'm glad that I'm in this session together with my two favorite industry partners, IDC for research and Sadara for the solutions that we use in the bank. Union Bank didn't wake up one day and decided to become a digital bank overnight. Our journey to becoming a digital bank started 21 years ago. Would you believe cloud wasn't prevalent then? And I guess a lot of people haven't predicted the public cloud adoption would be at this rate. 21 years ago, Union Bank started as the first transaction card called Eon that's tied up with the likes of PayPal or Visa. And then we were the first on the web. In fact, Union Bank was a Hall of Famer in the old Webby Awards in the Philippines, where they award companies with innovative use of the internet back then. And as the cell phone started becoming smarter and smarter, Union Bank moved in pace with the technology. And we also launched the first internet hub for government transactions. But 4 years ago, we said we need to take it to a different level. But taking it to a different level, we decided we'll lay down more robust digital infrastructure. So we started by putting up a blueprint, no less than a standard industry architecture from the IAN. So we mapped out in architectural layers our technology, our application, our processes, as well as our risk overlay. And we decided most of our processes will be automated. We deployed business process automation tools and RPAs. We decided that to be flexible, we need to be able to stitch all of our systems through RESTful APIs. And of course, as you collect all of this information and connect all the systems, you need strong data analytics in order for you to mine the insights that you can get from the huge amount of data that you'll be generating as you move from physical to digital. So we laid down the foundation, but not everything is about technology. One of our five foundational elements is our culture. In fact, I love using this picture. It shows our former chairman, Tito Ortiz, who at the time of the transformation actually led the organization in his mantra of think, rethink, and then learn, relearn, and then learn again. This is him trying to learn C programming. He's programming an Arduino box. So he's a very accomplished banker. And within a day, he said he'll take up the challenge of learning how to code. And he did. Around him were 20 of our top executives in the bank. And kudos to the culture of Union Bank. Everybody embraced the new way of doing stuff. He hasn't taken up programming nor coding, but he's our primary advocate and ambassador for new technology. So we had our culture transformed. We looked at our processes. We said we have to move much, much faster. So we went from waterfall to agile. And just during the pandemic, we said we need to move much faster. So we re-engineered our processes to comply with DevSecOps. So our aspiration is to launch every 2 weeks to 120 releases every month. So you could just imagine how busy our IT and operations people are, and how creative right now our product people are churning out products after products. So having been able to lay down the foundation, both for our culture and for our technical blueprint, we embarked on converting our physical space to virtual space. So we started with our Eon offering, which is a first in the banking industry for selfie banking. Moving on to creating more digital channels, we launched our first chatbot, which is the first in the Philippines 3 years back. This actually unloaded a lot of the calls to our call center and moved it to the chatbot. We launched our award-winning, famous Convergent Union Bank Online that allowed during the pandemic for our customers to open an account, put in money, disperse money, pay bills while at the comfort of their homes. They didn't have to go to any of our branches or ATMs to do that. Then we proceeded to launch several other platforms that cater to the corporate and to the SMEs. That journey, actually, talking about paradox earlier, when Andrew was talking about you have to keep the budget, while the budget are flat, the demand and storage is becoming exponential. And this is our infrastructure then. Union Bank was heavy into cloud transformation already. We've moved to the public cloud. But as our infrastructure started to grow to meet the demand, we encountered another paradox. It's no longer the paradox of budget and increasing demand, but as we grow and as demand increases, our systems become more and more complex. So now suddenly you have to manage on-premise, off-premise, hybrid cloud, name it. We have almost all the variants of storage facilities in our data centers. And the problem is, as a system becomes more complex, while the business demands you to move faster, you actually slow down. Complexity introduces a lot of breaks in the process. So we went to the market and scanned the solutions that are available that would allow us to have cost efficiency, simplicity, at the same time, ultimately agility in the way we deliver our services. Our mantra is you can only be as fast as your infrastructure. So if your infrastructure bogs you down, there's no way you'd be able to deploy and implement the projects that you need to during the pandemic. So we reached out to our partner SANS and SANS partner Zadara, and we changed our infrastructure to implement Zadara solution. The nice thing about Zadara solution is it has a mix of flash arrays for critical and premium performance for services that we offer to the public. And it has a tiering factor that allows us to move low demand, low value data into lower tier storage devices, allowing us to be more cost efficient. At the same time, giving us the flexibility to move seamlessly through on-premise and on off-premise cloud, and allows us to be able to manage them efficiently and with a lot of simplicity. So having attained that level of operational excellence in our infrastructure, Union Bank continued to deploy and implement groundbreaking projects that addressed a lot of the issues during the pandemic. So we were the first, prior to the pandemic, we were already the first transform branch operations in the country. In fact, we branded it as the ARC. When customers hated to line up in the branches or to go to the branches for transaction, our customers love going to our branches. You see pictures of the car. We've sold anywhere from cars to furniture to toys. So this is a transformed bank branch, ranked one of the top financial branches in the world, actually. We were able to do this because of the infrastructure that we have. Beyond the branch space, we launched several digital channels. So the first one is our online mobile banking app. You can just imagine the amount of customers that we've been able to onboard in this app during the pandemic, because they can just download the app, take a selfie of themselves, take a selfie of their KYC, and they're ready to transact like any bank account that you can use as an operating account. There's a statistic actually that we used to onboard 2,000 customers per month. During the pandemic, and because of this app, we were launching anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 customers a day. So that's a step increase in terms of the magnitude of customers that we're onboarding. At the same time, you could just imagine the horror of our IT organization when they found out that our capacity would just go through the roof. Luckily, we have a flexible storage infrastructure that allows us to scale on demand without huge upfront capital expenditure. Then we also recently launched our Union Bank portal, which is now the go-to app for corporates and businesses. And just of late, we launched our SME banking app, the go-to app now for small and medium enterprises in the Philippines. So you can just imagine these three super apps deployed in the market in the Philippines right now will just fill up the storage capacity that we have right now. Currently, we have around 150 terabytes in storage, and we're confident that as it gets filled up, it will just grow together with the demand and still continue to allow us to launch systems that will. Beyond the apps that we've launched, because of the infrastructure we have, we were able to also pursue new initiatives in the area of artificial intelligence. And filling up your infrastructure with data, the next logical step would be to mine the data for analysis. And then, since you have enough data, you can now pursue an AI initiative that can be filled up with a lot of information. So we're scaling up our chatbot. We have our AI assisted retail relationship managers through Max. And yes, we do have a live robot right now. There's actually several of them roaming around our branches that can easily access information from a central database. So imagine you as a Union Bank customer going to our branches, any of the Eve robots would have information about all of your transaction and can anticipate the other transactions that you would want to do. So AI initiatives will just increase our demand and our need for more storage. Beyond AI, we've actually tapped blockchain. And yes, we're using blockchain to interconnect rural banks. That's a project called I2I. We have blockchain interconnecting the logistics space, blockchain on financial supply chain. We even have a blockchain for identity management. And even our general circulars and rules are on blockchain. And blockchain actually is a mechanism that fills up a lot more storage than we have imagined before. We wouldn't have been able to have the confidence to deploy such solutions if we didn't think our infrastructure can accommodate them. Beyond the blockchain experiments that we have, we've actually launched other projects. This one is something that we're excited about. This one during the pandemic, where people cannot leave their areas due to quarantine, we bring the bank to them. For those who have mobile access to mobile and broadband devices, they can download their app and transact. But for some areas in the Philippines, like in the rural places where bandwidth is problematic, we deploy what we call the bank on wheels. This is a full-blown operating bank powered by a 5G network that allows us to deploy 4 ATMs and a full-blown branch facility. Was very, very useful during the pandemic, where we had to assist the government in providing amelioration or financial aid to people who are in need. Beyond the bank on wheels, if you go through this slide right now, you can see that we're a full service bank just by downloading our app and people transacting anywhere from even taking a picture of your check, depositing the check, to disbursing funds throughout the rural areas, because we now were able to grow from a few hundred cash out centers to 15,000 cash out centers in a matter of 2 months. I'm saying those statistics because the normal process would be you'll have a capacity plan prepared for your IT organization, and your IT organization will prepare for a capital expenditure plan. And by the time the pandemic is done, that's the only time you're ready to deploy the things that you need. But in our case, whatever the business thinks of that will require immediate deployment and would have to scale very fast, our IT organization is confident that they can service the requirements. And part of that is because we have an infrastructure that doesn't become complicated as you grow. In fact, it becomes much easier to manage as it scales, and it allows us for more efficiency in that way. Because of all of this, this is a chart that shows that Union Bank was ranked number 2 uh, as most helpful bank in Asia Pacific. And a lot of the things that we were able to do for the public wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for the strong collaboration of our culture in Union Bank, our strong IT support, and the infrastructure from which our IT organization relies on to deploy the services. So, some people may say storage as a service is something that's left for the data center people or for the IT organization. If deployed properly and if deployed well, it actually becomes an essential part of any transformation journey. It's an essential component because you're only as fast as your infrastructure, But there are also other things that you can build on top of it. I guess the rule of thumb is for everything that you put in your transformation journey, you have to make sure that everything as they scale won't slow you down. And in Sadara, we found the best mix of efficiency, scalability, and agility.